Okay.
Okay. How do I manage staff in another country when I'm not there? How do I ensure that they're able to do the work that is required? Welcome to Ask the Global Girl series, where you get to ask your questions about international business and I manage them. I'm Seba Badaki and I'm the Global Girl. So today's question is talking about how you can manage staff in another country, somewhere where you're probably could be sometimes 8 hours, 10 hours, or even 12 hours away. How do you manage them? How do you make sure that they're doing the things that you need to do to ensure that they keep intact with the guidelines of your company, make sure your brand is intact? So one of the things, first of all, I want us to consider is that when you're growing a business, if you want to have an international business, you are definitely going to have the capacity as a leader to be able to manage people who are not right underneath you. You need to be able to understand already how you're going to be able to keep them doing the things that you need them to do and still be able to grow your business at the same time. And that starts, first of all, with a framework. You're going to have a framework, and that starts with looking at your current business now. What are the policies and procedures that you have? And if you don't have them, that structure you definitely going to need to put in place. You're going to have structures, and that's the same structures that you want to use. A great thing sometimes what people do is they use an employee from their current company and they send them over, or they bring one of the nationals to come work into their company in their local headquarters, and this way that person starts to develop the culture that they want. And so these are just some of the things that you can first start thinking about after you've already have a structure, but you've got to have a structure first. The second thing is accountability. How do you keep them accountable? What are you doing? It could be virtual team meetings online, it could be reports, but you have to be able to have something that's in place. I just think about a business that we have been working with, where we had staff that were working for us in a different location, almost 12 hours away by flight. And we had reports, but sometimes reports are just not good enough. You've got to be on ground, and you've got to come and visit and see what they're doing. You've got to see how they're implementing. You've got to talk to your customers there, and you also got to see how they're actually working. One of the things you do not want to neglect is culture. Culture is such an integral part of a workplace. And so within that culture, even though you're asking them to do things according to the way your headquarters are doing, you have to incorporate the culture of their company. And so you need to understand, if you're dealing somewhere in the European countries, or in some place where something like France, or people with the French culture, where there's siesta for 3 hours in the middle of the day, where these people take a break. So if you are already thinking that they're going to work from 8 to 6 entire day, it's not going to happen. So take that into consideration. Take in consideration countries where lunch is very important, and having a working lunch is not an option at all. So these are some of the things you want to think about when you're having employees in another country, when you're having an office in another country. You have to consider the culture, how it's going to fit into your framework. And then also you want to leave opportunities for creativity, for innovation and flexibility. If you're so rigid in giving them a policy and a structure that they have to follow, they're going to break those rules and just do whatever they want. If you're going to if you give them a structure with guidelines and discuss with them how they're going to implement them and start tweaking for that particular environment, then you'll see that they're going to be followed out. So buy-in is very critical. So these are my tips for you today on how you're going to manage your staff in another country, how you're going to manage your staff when you can't keep your eyes on them all the time. And just like any other virtual team, you're going to have to build accountability in a framework. I'm Seba Badaki, and I'm the Global Girl. If you have a question that you would love for us to answer, send it in. We would love to have it for you. Just drop it in our comment sections. We would love to hear from you, and give us those likes. We'd love to like to see that. If you've not joined us on our online community, go ahead and go over to YouTube at She Works Now, or join our Facebook or Instagram group at Gals Going Global. Have an amazing day.